Thinking like something toxic.
Yeah.
CSI.
Alright. Well, looking at some impulsive, lie, cunning, narcissist, secretive, these are all traits of sociopaths. So we're here today to talk to you kind of about some sociopaths and kind of what makes up a sociopath.
Okay, so who are they? They can be anyone. They don't really have characteristics that stick out unless you know them very well. So that makes them a little bit harder to determine who's one and who isn't. The definition is that they're a person who has a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behavior and a lack of consciousness. And a few of the typical traits in addition to this slide before is they're irrational thinkers. They have a superficial charm to them, and they are unreliable and untrustworthy, and they lack remorse and shame for the actions that they make. So the first sociopath that we're going to look at today is Lizzie Borden. She was born in 1860 in Massachusetts. She lived with her father, mother, and sister, and shortly after, or a few years into her life, her mother passed away, so her father remarried to then her stepmother. Both her and her sister disliked the stepmother, and they didn't have a very good relationship. So one day, her sister was gone on a visit, and she was at home with both her father and stepmother, and she went to one of their servants and told the servant that she had found her father killed, and he was lying on their couch in their living room. So they were looking into that, and as they were looking into that, they found that the stepmother was also killed, and she was in the bedroom upstairs. So both of the father and stepmother were brutally murdered, and they were killed with a hatchet, is what was the weapon of choice. And so they investigated into Lizzie being a suspect. They didn't investigate into Emma since she was gone. But Lizzie, while doing the investigation, she burnt a dress that she claimed had paint on it, which police then said would have been evidence for her being the suspect. But they didn't have that as evidence anymore, so they weren't able to find her guilty of the crime. But after this all settled down, her and her sister moved in together until the later years of their life. Her sister ended up moving out, which was said to be a rumor that she found out more information on what happened to her father and stepmother, so that's why she moved out. But to this day, they haven't found anyone guilty for the murder. So any characteristics that you see from Lizzie that would signify her as a sociopath?
Alright, so next I'm going to talk about Richard Kuklinski. He's also known as the Iceman, which I'll get to in later why he's known as that. But he committed his first murder at the age of 14. It was actually a neighborhood boy that was in a gang down the road from him. He just kind of pissed him off a little bit, and he ended up killing him. And that's kind of when he discovered that he kind of enjoyed killing people. The adrenaline rush gave him like that kind of euphoria, and he really enjoyed it. He went on to spend his 20s doing robberies, hijackings, and pornography, but murder was his forte. He really, really enjoyed it, of everything that he did. He was married and had 3 children, and he lived a normal life to others. Nobody had any idea of anything that he had done or was doing. If you were to walk down the street, you would think that he was a perfectly normal person with a wife. He's got 3 kids. He ended up meeting another girl, and he really liked her. And when she found out that he was married, she tried to get out of the relationship, and so instead he ended up holding a knife to her back and told her that she was going to be with him, and that was final. Otherwise he was going to kill her. So he's that kind of person. So eventually he ended up getting noticed by the mafia. Can anyone take a guess what city
New
he got
York.
noticed by the mafia? Yep, New York City. He gained the respect at the age of 18, where he was with some mafia members, and they were walking down the street, and they said, "All right, kill the next person you see," and he did it without question. Just quick as could be, just kill him. He was 6'5", 300 pounds at his peak, so he was a very, very intimidating person to come across. The mafia ended up using him as a hitman, so if you saw him, you knew you were in trouble. His favorite ways to kill were guns, ice picks, hand grenades, crossbows, and chainsaws, but his favorite overall was taking a nasal spray bottle and filling it with cyanide, and then he'd spray it up into the person's nose. He got the nickname the Iceman because he would freeze his victims that way to obscure their time of death. He was finally caught in December of 1986. He confessed up to 200 murders, and it's believed that he committed somewhere between 100 and 200, and he died under suspicious circumstances in March 2006. So what characteristics might you see in him?
That's crazy. Creative. Highly creative.
Okay, so the next person we're going to talk about is Robert Hansen. So he was born in 1940, and he was the son of immigrants, and he lived in Alaska his entire life. He was described as skinny and shy, and he was shunned by all the attractive girls in grade school. So then he ended up going to be married twice, and before I tell you anything else, he actually had a movie, so if you ever seen The Frozen Ground, this movie was based off him. And then, so his targets were exotic dancers, prostitutes, and housewives. And he would abduct them, and he actually was a very wealthy man. He owned his own bakery, and he had his own private plane and everything. He would abduct them and fly them into the wilderness outside of Anchorage, and he would either kill and or rape and murder them. But yeah, so if you look at this picture, this is Anchorage. These are all the different bodies that were found just right outside. And then, so he killed 17 women and raped 30 women, and he pled guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder. There was only 4 counts because all the other women they couldn't identify who they were, so they didn't charge him. And then he raped 30 women, came out and said that they were raped. And then he was sentenced to 461 years in prison. Those are all the weapons that he used. When he would kill them, he would use guns. So, what characteristics might fit Robert?